Greetings, welcome to AP Computer Science Principles, Unit 7, Parameters, Return, and Libraries. This is Parameters and Return Make, so we're going to kind of put this all together and figure it out. So, you're actually going to try to build your own app, and what's nice about this is it's going to be complicated, don't get me wrong, it's going to be complicated. However, it's getting closer and closer to being a real app with real functions and possibilities that you can use these ideas and concepts of how the code works for that. So again, we're going to make an app, or at least finish an app like we normally do. We'll finish an app and we'll go through all the processes for that. So for a warm-up though, how do parameters and return change how the way you write programs? So go ahead and pause. Welcome back. Again, thinking about how you really, the concept of functions alone allow you to do a lot of stuff, but now it just adds a lot of functionality to functions. So you can actually have it return stuff instead of just changing global variables. All right, so we are going to make a project. It is a rock, paper, scissors app, but right now it's not doing all of the different pieces that we need. So as we go into this, we're going to see how it's supposed to work, and then we're going to go ahead and work on that. So let's see how it works, and then give you some time to answer this question as well. We go over to the app. Let's pull this over. Well, that's way too much. Let's run it. So again, I don't know what the computer is going to be. We drew. I won. Draw again. I lost. You can see it's counting up, say who wins. Lost again. I won. I won. And you can see kind of how it works. All right. So, big questions, which we'll add into here. You'll be able to answer those questions. What does each of those items do? You're going to answer those questions. So go ahead and pause. All right, welcome back. Again, you can see it runs the whole script, but it tells the computer at the same time what it is. So this is a great example of using parameters. So it's all the same function, but depending on which one you click, it sends a different parameter. This is a great example. One of the most, especially when I'm building web pages, one of the biggest ways I use parameters is to allow different buttons to all run the same function, but sending different parameters. So with that, we're going to actually get into the code and walk through it a little bit. So we'll come back to this after we look at the code, and then you're going to fill it out, really focusing on these functions, and then you're going to build the rest of the app, finish the app. So we head over to level 3. We start at the top. I'm going to minimize this so we can see it a little bit better. It has all of the icons. Right? It has all of the icons in a list array called icons. Has all the choices in choices. Then we have a player score, and these are global variables, so player score and computer score. We have event listeners for each of those, and this is what I was talking about. Update screen, we send rock. Update screen, we send paper. So if you click on rock, it sends rock into this, the player choice. So again, notice how this is actually not a variable, right? It's just the word rock as a string is sent down here, and it's now going to be essentially the parameter player's choice, which we're going to use as a variable throughout this. So we need to randomize the computer's choice and then decide if there's a winner. Now notice that these are function calls, and notice that there's an equal sign there. So therefore these two need returns. So when you're looking at notes for this stuff, find icon and random choice. In this case it's random choose and decide winner, but these are notes for random choice. It returns a parameter. Notes for this one returns a parameter. We'll go over some of this in a little bit, but so that's some notes you need to take about it. These two are going to return parameters, or sorry, we're going to return values. They're return values. So we have choices, and then we have player choices and things. So this is fun stuff, and this is, and even sometimes this gets me, but you gotta remember everything you already have. So see, choices is a global variable, right? Choices is a global variable. So when it sends choices down here, it's sending that list, right? That's what's going on. This array is going down to choices, to random choose. So when we go down to a random choose, it's going to return. It's going to return an item. So it puts in here, and that random, the choices is a list, and then right now it's just picking the same thing. And I think that's what they're trying to get at is, it just picks the same thing, right? Every single time it picks the same thing. Also, the win feature is not on here. We got to build that as well, but it's always picking rock because 0 is rock. 0 is rock. So one hint, as I'm going to do this for you, right, or not do it for you, but list 0, we want it to randomly pick a number between 0 and 2. So if I pull this back out, right, we want to make a random number between 0 and 2. So the minimum 0, the maximum 2. So that might be an easy way to fix that one. And then that one's fixed. All right, we already fixed that one. So notes, it returns a value. It sends a parameter of the choices. We just need to pick a random thing. That might be some stuff that you put in notes for that one. And then there's the decide winner. This is probably going to be one of your biggest pieces, and it's going to return either the player, well, you can see right here, it's going to return draw player or the computer. Right now it's just hard coded for player, but we need to say if this, and I'll show you the code in a little bit for notes. But here is an example. So I already kind of built a good chunk of this notes for you. I didn't finish it all, but this should be, and you'll have to turn it in. I mean, this is going to be a string, and this is not the actual variable, but in pseudocode, if the player equals rock and the computer equals scissors, right, that's a win, right? Rock beats scissors, or player equals paper and computer equals rock. Again, that's a win. So if this is a win, or this is a win, or you got to build the last or, player wins. And you can then just, at this point, you can just return player. You can just return player. So you'll have an if statement, and you can return player. Else if, basically these are lose moves. Player equals rocks, computer equals paper, that's a lose. Or another lose, or the third lose, you're going to return computer wins. Else, you're going to return draw. Your notes are, again, we're getting the input. And here's some notes right here, so kind of help you ring. We're getting the player's choice sent to us, and we're getting the computer's choice, and we're going to compare them against each other. So where I have player and comp, player's choice, computer's choice, you are going to make these little distinctions, and then you have your return. You're going to have 3 different returns. It's probably the easiest way to do this. Just if it's this, return player. If it's this, return computer. If it's this or else, return draw. But again, these are notes that you should be putting in your thing. So as we're going through this, pause the video, add some notes to it. And those are our 3 functions, right? So function, icon name, return icon. This is going to, again, depending on what they send, like if I pick rock, I'm going to send rock, it should return rock. Well, it always returns rock, because if I hit paper, I send paper, it still returns rock. So this, and I'm not going to have this in here for you, but in your notes, it receives whatever was chosen. And it doesn't matter if it's the find icon is for both the player and the computer. So it doesn't matter, it's going to return the icon so they know what it is. And we'll see that when we go back to the code. So your notes are, you send rock, paper, scissors, and you return the correct icon for it. That's essentially the notes for this. But the if statement would look something like, if icon name equals rock, return rock. Else if icon name equals paper, again with quotes and everything, return the paper one. And you have all the we have all the icons here, so you know what they actually are. All right, so you actually know what they are. And so on and so forth. So that is the 3 functions that you need to improve. Not much to this. You've got to make it random 0 to 1, or sorry, 0 to 2. And then this one we kind of talked out a lot. Got a lot of notes for you that you're going to have when you make a copy of this. Now let's go through the rest of the code now. So we got a random choice. We know what the computer is. The players already chose, right? So when we update the screen, when you click on one of these, say it send, they clicked on paper, it's going to send paper. So player's choice is paper. Computer choice is going to be random, which we just did, 1 to 2, or 0 to 2. And now we send those 2 down to the player's choice. We built the thing to return. It's going to return if they're a winner or not. This is going to figure out if they picked rock, then give them the image of the rock. If the computer picked paper, which is right here, if it picks paper or not, it'll find that paper icon and put it. So that makes those work. And the last piece is if winner. Again, that's what's returned from decide winner. If winner, then we're going to go ahead, and if we return to draw, notice capitalization, right? So when you return draw, make sure it's capital D, and then it's going to say draw, no score change. Else if winner equals player, you win, player score plus plus, and you can see it's hard-coded to player, that's why we keep getting this. So plus plus, and then update the score, and then concept else if winner equals computer, then computer wins, and we update its score, computer score plus plus. Remember, those are global variables. And that's the end of that, the main function, right? The function update screen is the main one that's run every single time a button is clicked. So there's not really anything that needs to be changed to this. Right? Function update screen is good. You are updating these last 3 functions. So take good notes. If you need to watch this video again to kind of go back over, I talked about each of these very similar. Notes on this, what comes in, what comes out, how do you get the random. We kind of went through the players, notes, what comes in, what comes out. And then, of course, when it's all said and done, you're going to, again, do not click submit. Click share, get the code, paste the code in the bottom again. Do not click submit. Paste the code in there. And that is what you're working on for this. So, final thought, how could using parameters and return help you write programs collaboratively? Like, so again, how could you write programs with someone? So now that you've done a little bit more, I think we had the same question last time, but now that you have a little bit more experience, how can this help you with ease, as long as everyone knows what's going on, right? One thought for this is someone could build a parameter, build a function, and just give it to you, and you can use it because I can call the function and I know what goes in and goes out. There are a lot of things which we're about to get to, which is this is a really good segue to our next thing called libraries, because a lot of times it's just a function. A lot of libraries are just functions where you send stuff like that. And here's all of these are great examples. Set property. This is a function if you think about it, right? Set property. We are sending the parameter game text. We are sending the parameter text, and we're sending the parameter you win. And then someone's written a function that says what to do with that. Right? So in the grand scheme of things, we're already using some of this, collaborative methods. But that is the end of this lesson. So again, answer the questions, watch this video again to help fill this out. That's all I have. We will see you next lesson.